Hello guys, it's Nick और मेरे channel पर आपका स्वागत है in another video. Today I'm doing a little Q&A video. I asked on Instagram and YouTube here to ask me I actually asked for assumptions, but I don't think people were understanding what I meant by it, so that's my bad for not clarifying. But anyway, people just asked me questions, so I will turn this into a little Q&A video. I did one a few months back and some of the questions are similar-ish, but there are a few little updates and things. And I have got like about 500 new subscribers in the past few months, so I'm aware there's a lot of new people here that may not have seen my previous Q&A, but you can go check out that other Q&A. I'll link it here as well. It answers kind of more like bigger questions, I would say, but this one's going to be a little bit more detailed. And if you are new here, please do subscribe if you haven't already. It would mean the world. I really appreciate it if you would just, that's all it takes. Okay, so the first question is, एक multicultural couple के लिए भारत एक fast paced place है, settle होने के लिए या slow है, since you guys have traveled to other parts of the world? So this person is asking for a multicultural couple. Is India a slower or fast place type of living? There's a second part to this question, but I'll just answer the first part first. So this is obviously a very personal thing on like what you view, because for me, I feel India is very slow paced. I feel India has a much slower pace of living in comparison to Ireland, in comparison to the West. What I feel when I'm in Ireland is more like everyone is just rushing to like do things and get places and do this and do that and reach here and get there, and like more of a rat race type of life. Whereas in India, I feel like everything's so much slower paced, like everything. The only thing in India I don't find slower paced is the traffic. And like, you know, people are obviously on the roads driving fast and driving like more like they have somewhere to be. But everything else in India, I find much slower paced. Like something as simple as people walk slower here. People don't feel like they're in a hurry in India. To me, things like paperwork are much slower, or just, you know, if you go to the post office or the bank, like tasks just take longer. People just take their time, and it's a good and a bad thing. But people's perception of whether it's a faster or slower pace of life is just subjective to what they think or know. I know a lot of foreigners come to India and feel like India is very fast paced, literally because of what you see around you. So much people, so much traffic. That can seem fast paced for many foreigners, but I kind of see it the other way around. It's like, yes, the traffic is busy, but everything else I see in terms of actions and how people are just in day-to-day life, I feel like is slower pace of life here. So yeah, and I've traveled a good bit, so that's based on my experience and opinion. But someone who's been to different kinds of countries, maybe to them India is really fast paced. So it's hard to say, but that's just my opinion and what I feel. The second part of the question is, do you believe the schedule of you two would have been different if you guys would have lived in a different city than Pune, like Chennai, Hyderabad, Chandigarh? Yeah, definitely. I mean, India is so diverse, and each place, each city, each state like is so different. So definitely like life would be different if we lived in another part of India. I'm not sure what it means, the schedule, but definitely, because in Pune here we're able to, you know, we go out for like day trips, or there's so many places to go in the hills, and in like there's so many hill stations around in Maharashtra that we can go to, loads of nature places in Maharashtra. So living in Pune is it's very easy to access those places. Whereas if we lived in like Delhi or Chandigarh or other cities, like I'm not sure what that would look like. Like we would still go for drives and go on like those day trips or short trips, but it would probably look quite different, I imagine. But that's the thing, is like we're not going to be in Pune forever. This is not like our settling place. I'll explain that in a later question someone's asked, but definitely if we live somewhere else in India, it will look different. And I wouldn't say day to day would be much different, but yeah, I think in terms of going on weekends and like those things that we usually do at the weekends, probably they would look different if we're in another part of the country. It's difficult for me to say because I've never lived in anywhere else except Pune in India. Like, yes, I've traveled to other places, obviously, but it's not the same as living there. When Utsav first got his job in the government, he was posted to Hyderabad, and he struggled there a bit actually, because the place he was living had barely any veg options. It was mostly non-veg around him, and he was living in a hostel, so he didn't have like access to like kitchen and cooking. And he actually lost a lot of weight during that time. So even stuff like that, you know, obviously, for example, if we moved to Hyderabad tomorrow, obviously we would have a kitchen and like we would be living in like a flat or whatever. But yeah, I definitely think where you live will impact certain things. But yeah, we'll find out, because with Utsav's job, we are going to be transferred for sure somewhere else at some point. Let's say we move to the south, like somewhere like Chennai or, you know, in Tamil Nadu or Kerala or anything. Speaking Hindi would be different. Not that we wouldn't be able to speak Hindi, but obviously it's not as widely spoken, it's not as widely accepted. I know here in Maharashtra, obviously local language is Marathi, and people also don't always like people speaking Hindi, but everyone here that we speak to speaks Hindi, so it's like more normal. But if you go somewhere like Bangalore, Chennai, I feel like speaking Hindi I would feel more nervous to do it. So yeah, like little things like that would definitely impact day to day. But I feel like no matter where you are, like you'll adjust to whatever that place is like, or it's a case of adapting and like being adaptable. So the next question is, living life in India compared to back home, better or worse? Life in India versus life in Ireland. There's honestly no just better or worse. I feel like every place, every country has pros and cons. Like there's many things I love about India, many things I love about Ireland. So this one isn't straightforward just because there is so many pros and cons to any country, no matter where you are in the world. I know Indians think anywhere outside of India is best, but believe me, those countries have problems too. So what do I feel like is better in India than back in Ireland is the pace of life, which I just spoke about. I actually really prefer that. I feel like life here, pace of life is slower. People are more relaxed. For me, the weather is better in India, obviously, than in cold, rainy Ireland. Sense of community. These are things I mention a lot when in many videos I've talked about the reasons why I love India and stuff. Yeah, just the people, there's very hospitable nature. People look out for one another here. People are less individualistic. And just in general, the atmosphere and the vibrancy that India has, I love. Just when you walk somewhere, when you go out on the streets, when you just see people. And from my perspective, India just feels so alive in comparison to Ireland, just in terms of the vibrancy, just when you look around you on the streets, on the roads, on, you know, markets, everything. It's just, there's a sense of aliveness in India specifically. And then the things that are better in Ireland would be the food quality. Obviously, Indian food is great and amazing, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, I suppose, like the quality of food products, in particular like dairy and bread. In India, dairy quality is very bad in comparison to what we have in Ireland. It's probably just because there's such a huge population and like the demand is so high because dairy is so popular, so huge in India. And bread quality here is, it's like that American bread, you know, where it's just like processed bread. Whereas in Ireland, we have really good quality of bread, like fresh bread and everything. So I would say just in general, like the quality of some foods and Western foods is worse in India. Like if you go out and get pasta in India, it will probably just be like some sauce poured over it that doesn't taste like pasta sauce. I don't know, like India doesn't do Western foods very well. I mean, like obviously most people here just prefer to eat Indian food, so, and it's not always bad, it's just like not what pasta like usually is or what we know it to be. It'll be Western food but with some masala or some Indian flair to it, which Indians like obviously, but for Westerners we're just like, oh, this is so bad. And Ireland is also better in terms of things like work-life balance. Obviously this doesn't relate to me because I'm not working here in India, but from what I know is like work-life balance, work culture in India is very difficult. Like you can be expected to work crazy hours, nothing you can do about it in many cases. You know, if you want a job, sometimes you have to do that. You can get called in on your day off or get calls on your days off. And not that it's easy in Ireland to find a job either. I think nowadays in every country, like it's difficult to find work and you're competing with so many, but India is on another scale because you've so many educated people, really highly educated, and all going for, you know, thousands, lakhs of people going for the same job. So I would say in general, Ireland is better for like work culture and work-life balance. Those are just like the few main ones that come to my head, but there's obviously so many. And then in Ireland, we have a housing crisis, which is like really, really huge issue there at the moment. And in India, you'll never have that problem of struggling to find a house or somewhere to rent in India. There's so much construction going on 24/7 in India, constantly developing, and there's already thousands and millions of vacant apartments, vacant flats. I love that about India, coming from somewhere like Ireland where housing is such a difficult thing to just find somewhere to rent, to afford somewhere to buy. It's crazy what's going on in Ireland in such a small country. And then in India, for such a huge population, there's a never-ending supply of housing, and it's an amazing thing. I don't know how a small country like Ireland with like 5 million population is struggling with this housing issue when India has a population of 1 billion, and yeah, housing is just never an issue here, and that is definitely a pro to like never have to worry about, oh my god, we're never going to find somewhere or anything like that. Obviously a lot of other factors go into it, affordability and different things. I'm not saying anyone can just get a house here. I mean like just finding accommodation, whether it's like renting or short-term accommodation or anything, like you'll find it very easily here. Healthcare is another one in India. Healthcare is really, really affordable. I got a sonogram, oh, I never know what it's called, a sonogram or sonograph the other day, and it only cost 800 rupees. That's €9 equivalent to get a scan. You know, that's very cheap. We visit our local doctor, it just costs like €3 for like an appointment. In Ireland, healthcare is not accessible for everyone. There's huge waiting lists in many cases, and it's really expensive unless you have insurance. Whereas in India, healthcare is like really accessible and affordable for everyone. Even just for example, like I've been having like issues with my skin. Like I have kind of like hormonal acne. I've had it my whole life, but I've never been able to afford to go to a dermatologist and check what's going on. Dermatologist in Ireland, you're looking at probably 10,000 rupees, about €100 for like just a consultation. For one consultation. So it's really expensive there, healthcare and such things. Obviously skin is like cosmetic, it's not like healthcare, but still that's one of the reasons why I've never bothered to investigate what's going on, because it's just so, to me, like so unaffordable to spend that. But here in India, I can go do that for 100 times less the price. Even in Ireland, when I used to get sick, if I got some throat infection or some illness, I wouldn't go to the doctor. I would just wait it off until it healed, hopefully by itself, because going to the doctor costs about 6,000 rupees for one consultation. And if you need to go back again for any reason, you'd have to again pay 6,000, 5,000 or 6,000 rupees again. So it's really expensive, and I never really did those things unless I had to, like unless I'm really struggling with something. So healthcare is a huge one, and it's so crazy. Even I'm still not used to it, just to be able to be like, oh, I want to get this checked out, let's just go and do that because it's so cheap here, you know. It's such a like a luxury. I feel like it's kind of like a luxury, but it shouldn't be. Like healthcare shouldn't be a luxury, but it feels that way because it is so affordable here in India. Anyway, I could go on. There are so many pros and cons to both countries. So the simple answer is there is no better or worse. There really isn't. There's certain areas which are better in Ireland, certain areas which are better in India. Okay, so the next one is future plans regarding marriage and India. So our plans regarding marriage, obviously we got engaged recently and it is coming very soon. We're having like the actual Indian reception and wedding in February. And in terms of the legal part of the wedding, because here in India, I'm a foreigner, he's Indian, so we have to do the Special Marriage Act, which is literally just signing. The legal part is just signing. So that will be in March. Last week of February, start of March is when we're having all of our marriage and wedding together. So yeah, we're really excited. We've kind of been starting to plan some things for it. It's going to be a very, not small wedding, because obviously no Indian wedding is small. It's not going to be fancy. I just want to be married, but I don't care about the wedding, or not to say I don't care. I just, for example, in the West, we plan out such details like what the tables will be set out like. And, you know, weddings are obviously very different in the West. So in terms of any of that, I'm like anything, I don't mind. But yeah, we will be doing shopping and stuff for the wedding come now December, January, getting all of our outfits and everything for the Indian wedding. So I'm really excited, but yeah, that's the plan for our marriage. So that's the timelines. And yeah, we are just having an Indian wedding. We are not having like a Western wedding in Ireland or anything like that. I feel like the older I've gotten, I just don't care about that big show of a day. I would rather have a simpler, less expensive wedding and then just go on a nice honeymoon and put the money into that. Yeah, I'm really happy with what we've decided, and we're just having an Indian wedding. We'll be legally getting married here in India. I'm really excited because I've never even been to an Indian wedding. That's one part of Indian culture I just don't know really anything about, is Indian weddings. So I'm kind of nervous, but I'm excited. I can't wait to wear amazing jewelry and outfits and just feel so pretty. If you are interested to know more about like what exactly we're planning for this wedding and everything, Maybe I can do a separate video talking about like just wedding stuff. And then about future plans in India. So yeah, this is where we're living. This is where we are settling down. This is where we're going to start our family. I've mentioned this in my last Q&A, but I suppose I'll go into it in more detail about like where are we going to live in India, because I've never really spoken much about it, because in a way I can't because I don't know. So Utsav works in the central government. So he has a job in which he will be transferred around anywhere in the country. So it's kind of difficult right now to know like where are we going to be, where are we going to settle down. For example, if he got posted to Delhi, then we could like live there more long term, because his job has multiple offices in Delhi. So a lot of people want to get transferred there. Obviously it depends on many factors on him being able to get transferred there. And it's not to say that we would definitely go there, because obviously pollution at the moment in Delhi is crazy. But yeah, he takes exams every year to try and get a different posting and like move up in terms of postings and get better jobs. But everything in terms of where we're going to live is based on his job because of that. So yeah, I really don't know, but I just know that we won't long term be living in Pune. Not that we don't like it here. Like I really like it here. He likes it here. There's definitely benefits of living somewhere like Delhi, because his family live in UP, Western UP. So 4 hours from Delhi, like not too far. Like when we start a family, it would obviously be really nice and helpful if we had family nearby. So there's lots of different factors like that, but a lot of it's kind of outside of our control. But yeah, definitely like he will be transferred at some point. So we're definitely not going to be in Pune forever. So that's kind of like our plans in terms of location. Is we can't plan too much. It's kind of annoying because I like planning and I like knowing, but in another way, it's also kind of exciting. Like just the idea of like getting to like move around. So it's kind of the future plans about that. It's really all dependent on his job. And yeah, we would love to start a family after marriage at some stage. Not saying when, because just want to enjoy being married for a bit. But yeah, definitely want to start a family in the not too far away future, because yeah, like I am 30 next year and really just want to kind of have my family before the age of, 34, 35. I don't want to be too old kind of starting my family. That's all God willing, and assuming that all is good and you're able to have children. And one thing about future plan that I am kind of working through at the moment is thinking about what I will do for work in the future. Obviously I can't work now. I can't work in India until I have OCI, which is 2 years after you get married. So it'll be 2028, I guess, before I can work, or maybe 2029 by the time I actually get OCI. But anyway, it's a while away, so I do have a lot of time to think about it. But yeah, that is definitely one thing I'm not sure of. What am I going to do in India for work? Obviously, I would be able to work remotely for some company, but a lot of companies don't allow that. Obviously there's tax issues there and stuff. So I don't think it's very easy to get like just a remote job from another country. So it may be an option, but it's not like a solid option. Let's say like it's not certain that I could get something like that. I was working in property in Ireland and I really enjoy property. I love houses. I love home things. I love decorating. As you can see from my videos, I love just making like a house a home. I feel like that's the area I would love to be in, working in, whether that's like selling houses or decorating, like interior decorating. But yeah, I don't know, because again, in India, they're very different. Even like interior design in India is so different. People like a certain style for their home, which like I'm not sure I would know. I can learn that. It's not the end of the world, but I'm just not sure. I don't know yet what my like career life is going to look like yet. So yeah, that's still something like I'll need to work out in the future, but maybe my YouTube will just get really good and I can survive off that. That would be amazing. So please do subscribe. Thank you. Okay, this next question is how you're experiencing Pune so far, and what about your future plans? Well, I've just answered the future plans part, but how am I finding Pune so far? Yeah, amazing. Like Utsav has been based in Pune now since 2023. So we've been here since like 2023. Obviously I haven't been here only, I've had to always go back to Ireland. But so I'm very used to Pune now. I feel like I know it pretty well. I feel very comfortable here. I feel Pune is a very safe city. People in general are quite nice. I feel like it's quite a laid back city in comparison to like Mumbai. It's quite chill in comparison to those cities. So I really like it here. I'm so sorry to all the Mumbaikers, but I actually don't like Mumbai at all. That's one thing me and Utsav have agreed on, like for him to not take any posting that you would get posted in Mumbai, because I don't want to live there. Traffic's too crazy. The housing is very small. It's not for me. But yeah, I just feel really lucky that we're in Pune. I think that it's a really lovely city, and I also feel like there's a lot to do here if you like what we like, going for drives, going for bike trips. It's like such a good location for all of that stuff because you've so many hill stations around, so many naturey places. So I feel like Pune is such a great location right now for us and for what we like to do. And the people are quite laid back here. Like when I go to Delhi, people will like come up to me and like ask me like, oh, like where are you from? What are you doing here? Like, how do you like India? And like, I don't mind any of that. Like, it's very nice and friendly, but people in Pune are more laid back. Like, no one will come up to me and be like, oh, what are you doing here? Or like, where are you from? Like, rarely people actually start up those types of conversations, which isn't necessarily like a good or bad thing, but people care less that I'm a foreigner here. Sometimes that makes me feel more comfortable because it's like, they don't care that I'm like different or that I'm a foreigner here. Whereas some other parts of India, they'll be like, oh my God, a foreigner, you know? Like when I went to Mumbai to like the tourist spots, obviously in the tourist spots, you have people from all over India, like rural areas and everything. So people were just like, oh my God, like a foreigner, and asking to take photos and all of that stuff. But in Pune, that's never happened to me. No one asks for a photo, thankfully, and people are just very chill. So I think that's also like a really nice thing about Pune. People are just really chill and really chill about foreigners. And the very last question, do you feel cold in India? Why would you feel cold since you are from a cold country? I love this one because I actually get this all the time. People find it really surprising that I would feel cold in India since I'm from a cold country. Yeah, it's still cold. I mean, cold is cold no matter where you go in the world. So for example, now here in Pune, it's winter. It's not like 0 degrees winter, or it's not even like 5 degrees winter, but lately it's been about like 10 or 12 degrees. So it's still cold. Like at nighttime, in the mornings, it's definitely cold. Like I definitely need a jumper. During the day, it's warm and normal, but yeah, in the morning and night, it's definitely chilly. It's not that I feel colder here or anything, but it's different because in Ireland, we have like central heating. So even if it's a bit cold, you can put on the heating. So you don't need to like put on layers to warm up. But in India, like there's no central heating. So it probably feels colder because of that. And it's not actually cold in the house or anything. I'm just talking about outside. But yeah, I actually hate being cold. I really hate it. And just because I'm from a cold country and used to it, it doesn't mean I like it or enjoy it. I still feel very cold all the time. I used to be that person in school with my coat on all the time. Like I just always felt cold, and I just hate the feeling of being cold. So I think people see me in jumpers and stuff in India and they're like, what is going on? But yeah, it can be chilly here in winter, and it's definitely not near as cold as Ireland, but it's still like, I still need a jumper, you know? Okay guys, that was it for my updated Q&A video. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, guys. Do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, do put them in the comments because I love doing these videos. I love making them and I love answering your questions. So do give me more questions. I can put them in my next one. Dekhne ke liye dhanyavad, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!